and muscles with heroes rise. The dying world's still modern skies. Crushing head with power we fight. Strength that breaks you, life in the night. Where the brawn meets the blood. Just starry stone in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis and muscles, heart and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roll. Gaming realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Golden spells casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawn meets the blood. The story told in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, the factors unfold. These are my soul, our soul. Where the brawn meets the blood. Just stories told in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, the fate to light for peace of my soul's our soul.
Yes, welcome one, welcome all to the only place you need to be on a Friday night. That is Minis and Muscles. Welcome to the place where the brawn meets the brush, the paintbrush to be specific. Because here on Minis and Muscles, kind of a clue in the title. Yes, there's muscle involved, hence why I wear a vest all the time. And there's minis involved, so miniature painting. And that is what we do here. We talk all things geek, though, throughout the show. We are here from 7 p.m. on a Friday until 9 p.m. And that's when we finish up. But we're here for 2 hours and we talk about lots of things geeky. So that is what we do. I forgot to put my music on, my background music. Let's stick that in now, before I really do forget anything else. Anyways, how are we? Howdy squarish. How are you, sir? It's Friday. How was your week? Did you manage to survive? That is the question. Did you survive or did you strive to survive? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going mental. Don't worry about it. However, I hope you're all good. I'm going to get my wet palette ready. I also have my fresh clean water. Yes, it looks dirty, but it's just a dirty jar. And we are ready for another evening of painting. So hopefully you've all had a wicked week. It's been a good one for you. And fingers crossed it's not been too stressful or too worrying. But I think let's go through the agenda for today's show. So we've said hello to you all, and I hope you are all well. The second point is the main discussion for tonight. So I was going to talk about tonight because of some conversations with some people I've had this week, and because I played D&D yesterday with my homebrew game. We're going to talk about creating characters, backstories especially, and how to use them sort of effectively for TTRPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, etc. For our muscle moment, we are going to talk about how to deal with injuries. So that's from prevention to recovery. And in the painting session, we are going to continue with our diorama. So let's take a quick look at our diorama right now. Let's use phone cam. No, phone cam is not working. Why is phone cam not working? It's saying to me no source selected, but I know there's a source selected because it's my phone. Let's just click off of that. Ha! There we go. Alrighty. Oh, why is it all back to front? Oh my lord. Why is it doing that? Oh my god, what's it doing, guys? This has gone crazy. I have no clue what it's doing and why it's looking down. How is it even looking down there? I've got the camera, as you can see, like held up, so it should be looking at me, but it's looking down. That's really freaky. What is up with that camera? Take that off. Ah, okay. Maybe that's it. Ah, okay, there we go. Right, here we are. So here is our diorama. So, we're going to continue painting this in today's session. What I have done here, as you can see, is I've been experimenting with expanding foam. I thought, now how do I make the base for this diorama? How do I sort of put this together? And I thought, I'm just going to try expanding foam. I've never used it before, and I'll sort of cut it and make it into shape. So there you go. So we've got our grass on the side. It's going to be have some fleck put on it and all the rest of it. We're going to improve the mud. But this is what it's going to generally look like. We have got over the back here our female orc barbarian. We have our female human rogue. We have our dwarven cleric. And then we have this mysterious character with a big backpack carrying lots of wares, trying to sell to our group. So that is what we're going to continue painting tonight. Well, not the base, but let's take our little dwarf off of there and bring him onto the table. So let's bring him back. And here is our dwarf. There he is. So we're going to continue him. Squarish is saying the first week back in the office is not too bad. The usual slow start to the year. How am I? Thank you very much for asking, Squarish. I am very well, thank you. Am I well? Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's anything majorly hideous going on. I'm just trying to think if there's anything bad or not. No, I think all is good, mate. Yeah, standard life, really. And by that, I don't mean the insurance company. Yeah, just usual goings on. So that's all really that's happening right now. Whilst I move my lighting so we can get a bit more light onto our cool little dwarf. And once again, we're getting a bit of green on this guy, aren't we? That's not so good. I don't know how I'm ever going to get rid of this. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll make do. I don't know if I'll just do this again and use Squarish's technique of white paper and then taking it away. No. Oh well, sod it. I can't be asked to fiddle around with it, to be honest. But Squarish is saying, well, I have a lot of ideas for character and even more old injuries, so should be an interesting one this week. Yeah, plenty of experiences for injuries and using up plenty of characters as well here, so it should be a good little conversation. I thought it'd be quite a nice one because everyone can join in. Everyone's had an injury of some sort. Everyone's been partaking in some form of TTRPG. So, yeah, it should be quite a good, lively conversation. So what do we need to do first? Well, actually, we need to find our colours, don't we? So, that's not one of them. It's that one up there. Right, so we've got Bugman's Glow, which is the skin we've used for this guy. Remember, the paper needs to go under the lamp, lay it on the painting mat. Oh, right. Let's go and get another piece of white paper, shall we? Rather than use a cloth. Okay. So, that paper needs to go there, under the lighting, and then take it away. Is that right? Or did we have to turn him off last time? I can't remember if we had to turn off the... Oh, mate, my memory's so bad. Let's just try it. Boop. Off. And on. And zoom. And take that away. Huzzah. Why does it do it every time? That's so weird, isn't it? So weird. But we fixed it. Our little guy is viewable now to the world. And there he is. So that's who we're going to crack on with today. Let's get some paintbrushes ready. Let's get some paint ready too. Yeah, so first week back, how am I? Well, it's actually the second week back for me because I started last week. So this is the first full week though. But yeah, it's just busy work, right? It's just it's just standard work. It's just very, very busy. It's you know, it just is what it is. I don't think I've got anything special to say about work, apart from yeah. Let's get some gold out as well. So we want to use some gold. So let's get some gold on the go, because clerics have a lot of gold, right? They normally look quite regal, I think anyway. Hence why I've gone for this sort of white look on this guy. So I wanted a nice thick gold, but I also want a bronze as well. I'm going to go for these two. So I've got these two shades as well. So one's like a sort of fiery bronze, one is like a dull bronze, so a coppery kind of bronze. But yeah, so I'm going to go for these just to give it a bit more variation in metallics. And this is only going to be for tiny little details. So the pads on his shoulders, things like that, I'm probably going to go with the brown colour. That's probably what I'm going to go for. I just haven't exactly decided yet. Whoop. Throwing stuff everywhere. Yeah, so the week's been good. When you turn the camera on, it looks like there isn't much white in the frame, so it kind of has to guess based on the other colours. Ah, okay, got you. So that's what it's doing. Right, okay, that makes sense, because the mat is already underneath, right, when I turn the camera on. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay. Alright, point taken. And thank you again, Squarish, for your education in the camera operation. Much appreciated. What brown should we go for his patches? So I'm thinking maybe this sort of doomy brown that'll go against the white or the cream. Yeah, I think that'll do. We have got that as well, so let's get that Rathbone in as well. So let's shake that up and ready. Because we're going to need to apply another layer, I think, to the white on here, because it's a little bit thin in places. But that's fine. Oh, I don't know, actually. I might go for a more grey kind of brown, which is this Gorthal brown. I like this one. That'll go good against the cream colour, actually, for this sort of pad round his waist. So that's what I'll probably go for. That'll look good. I'm guessing the warmer tones of your table and room lights are skewing things to the colder blues. Yeah, to be fair, the lighting in here is really rubbish. It's not very good, but yeah, it is what it is. We're on a budget YouTube show here. We're no premium brand with jazzy lighting. We're on a budget, so yeah, we're kind of operating on that. So we need a paintbrush, don't we? Well, we've got one here. Boop boop. We do have some colours still in the wet palette, so let's see if they're revivable or not. Because some of them are. Sometimes when you use a wet palette, I've not used it for a couple of days, so there'll be colours in here that won't be revivable at all, and you'll have to start afresh. But some you might be able to get, if you add more water in, you might be able to get a few more days worth out of your paint. So it's, you know, don't throw your wet palette top layer piece of paper out straight away. Always check it, keep it, and check it on the next session, because you might find that you'll be able to what's it called, to use them again. Anyway, let's start with the discussion, shall we? So today's discussion, and what we're going to talk about is let's get in frame. We're going to talk about creating characters and backstories, and how to use them effectively in tabletop role-playing games, such as Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, Candela Obscura, Daggerheart, Pathfinder, and many, many more. So you can use it in all those games if you like. But yeah, character creation is really important, and it's one of the most fun things to do. I find it really fun. I was only chatting with someone today actually about character creation for their D&D game. They sent me, which I haven't read yet, which they sent me the character background. I was like, oh, what do you think? You know, blah blah blah. This is my character. I created it. And I did promise to have a look, and I will read their character shortly. Well, after stream, because I love doing a little bit of background and making up this weird little history about this person that you're creating that you want to play, because it gives you this kind of opportunity to escape from the real world, although the whole game does anyway. But this character that you create, right, the reason why it gives you a cool opportunity to escape, because I don't know, say you're a CEO of a company, right, and you've got a ton of responsibility, and you come play Dungeons and Dragons, and all you do is play as the bard, where you're an absolute loony, and you know, are carefree, and you have no responsibility because you're, you know, chaotic good, where you kind of just do random things and cause a bit of chaos. So, you know, it's quite a lovely way to be able to take yourself away from the realities of the world. So that's one of the big reasons I love getting deep into character creation. Maybe that says that I have a job that's too stressful, perhaps, but we'll see. So first point was why backstories matter. Backstories are a really important part of your character creation. Yeah, it's all well and good, and I know some people that play that like, no, I'm not writing a backstory, I don't want to write a backstory, I don't want to buy a model, I don't want to do this, I'm just playing the game. But that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. You can 100% do that. But by having a backstory to your character, the idea of playing Dungeons and Dragons, right, is it's role playing. So you're acting out and pretending you're something. Yes, there's lots of dice, and yes, there's combat and things like that, and you're opening treasure chests. But actually, the role-playing aspect of Dungeons and Dragons is really important to build on the depth and the feel of the game, so you feel absorbed into the environment. So by creating your own backstory and making it, you know, half decent, it gives you the opportunity to be relatable in game, and it sort of ensures that it gives you things that you can play off throughout the game as well. So not only can players relate to you and understand, you know, this dwarven cleric, the reason why he's a dwarven cleric is because his whole town was massacred by orcs when he was a child, and after that happened, he tried to save people, but he had no skills to be able to save people, so he couldn't. And that is why he turned to be a cleric. Right? It gives the character passion and drive and a reason to be in the story that you're creating. So that's a super important part of why you should want to start, you know, hammering in your players to create decent characters and decent backgrounds. That was my first point I wanted to bring up. So who recently has created a character? I'll be keen to understand if any of you have been creating characters recently. If so, what for? What did you create your character for? What game are you playing? Or did you create them because you're the GM and you're just GMing something? Be interesting to know. Just looking at this brown that I'm making up here, I think it's too dark. It might suffice for the belt. We'll see. Let's give it a try, shall we? It's actually too close to our other brown, I think. What do you reckon? It's just there. Is that too close to the other brown? There is going to be a separation line. It's going to be the belt edging, so we can put some colours on that. Maybe a bright colour like a red or something like that, just so it really stands out. Yeah, so who's been creating characters? Oh, hello, Penny's Pit Stop. How you doing? How are things? I hope the channel's going well. We're just cracking on here, creating a diorama out of D&D characters. So in case you've not caught up on what we're doing, We finished our tank a little while ago. I think that was the last time I saw you when we were doing the tank. We're now doing a diorama. If I change my lighting to over here and then select this camera, I can show you. Phone cam! There you go. So there's our diorama. We've got 3 characters. I'm actually painting one right now, but they're on a hilltop. So you've got your barbarian at the back, you've got your rogue at the front, then you've got like a mysterious trader off to the side. So that's what we're doing at the moment, and I'm currently painting the dwarf cleric of the party. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, this little guy here. So that's who we're painting right now. And today, Penny, the topic is all about creating your D&D characters, or your TTRPG characters, should I say, and creating backstories, and why that's really important to create a backstory. I'll be honest, things aren't great. We're supposed to move by December 22nd, but it's been delayed until the landlord can get a court order to get that old tenant out. Could be months. Meanwhile, I'm all packed up. No! Oh man, I feel for you. That's pretty poop. That's really not the position you want to be in, especially starting the new year and, you know, getting up to speed with everything in 2025. And your 3D printer's playing up. It's printing, and then all of a sudden just says no. Oh, dude, no way. That's horrible. Sorry to hear about that, mate. Hopefully you can either get a little bit of leeway with your printer to take your mind off of the current housing scenario, or you know, the housing scenario speeds up, and that's I'd like both, though. To be fair, I'd like your printer to stop buggering around and the housing scenario to stop playing silly buggers. But here's a positive, Penny, and we've always got to look for a positive in everything that we do, right? You are moving. Okay, so it's not right now. Just spilt water on my iPad. That's not good. You are moving. All right, it's not right now, but you are moving. So this is really positive, and that's a new start. It's all fresh, and you can do something new when you get to your new place. So that's pretty cool. So hopefully you can hold on to that little bit of good thoughts and that silver lining. Squarish is saying, when I'm creating characters, I normally recommend thinking about your character in the first to third section of the story circle in order to set up motivations and backstory that can be resolved during the campaign. Yeah, so me not being exceptionally clever, Squarish, you've already confused me in your description. Third, second, whatever, have no idea what you mean. So, yeah, I'm lost already. But I think I might get what you're talking about. Let's just read that again. When I'm creating a character, I normally recommend thinking about your character in the first to third section of the story. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I'm confused, mate. Apologies, Thicko here doesn't understand a lot, so you might have to break that down a little bit for me, dude. Break it down. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so the backstory, first of all, is really important so that you can connect with the game. And connecting with the game is ultimate because it's a role-playing game, and yes, like I said, there's combat, there's fighting, there's puzzles, there's all this, but I find the funniest, most engaging moments of the whole game, whatever game I play and whoever with, is always the role-playing aspect. So when someone does something really funny, or, you know, a character says something to another character that is just beyond hilarious, they're always the best parts of a campaign, always, the most memorable. Even if you think back to watching your favourite sort of TTRPG show. That could be Roll Britannia, it could be Critical Role, right? It could be anything. Think back to your favourite part, and 9 times out of 10 it's normally an interaction between one or the other. It's not normally, oh yeah, I remember when they killed that thing. It's never that. It's always, oh my god, you know, I remember when, you know, X did Y, and he was speaking to that guy, and it all kicked off because, you know, ABC. That's the funny part, and I really think that applying yourself in giving yourself a background allows you to bring your character to life in that role-playing element. So that's my top tip of the day. Penny is saying, it's okay, life throws these obstacles up, they serve to help you appreciate the good times more. Yeah, they certainly do. And like I said, mate, there is a silver lining to it, so don't panic. And you've got, you know, plenty of good friends around you to be able to support you through the harder times, so don't worry. What Square is saying, sorry, it's a thing from writing. I learnt it for filmmaking. Basically lays out the basic order of the character's story, used a lot in TV and film. I posted a copy in the Minis-N-Muscles. Oh, thank you very much, sir. I shall take a look at that after stream and have a read. I was not lucky enough to be part of the filming and TV world. Well, I'd love to be. I've got a great face for radio, you know. But I think I'm too old to ever be on telly now, or to start in radio or something like that. I don't think you know, Radio X or something would take me, because I'm not down with the kids, and I'd have no idea where to start in that, to be fair. I think that's always been like a job that I thought I'd like. So working in radio, and you know, as a kid I used to record my own radio shows and things like that, and I thought I'd really like it, but I never, you know, I fell into the army, and then, you know, doing all of that fun stuff was never really an option. So I would have no clue how to even start there and get into that. If anyone knows, anyone has their own radio station, fancies giving the Minis-N-Muscles channel a slot, or not the Minis-N-Muscles channel, but me, let me know. Hook me up. That'd be very cool. They do have some of them charity radios, don't they? Where you can just like record your set for the charity radio and it plays it during a certain time. Yeah, I think my uncle did one of those a little while back. Which is quite cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of going off piste here a little bit, aren't I? Get back to the subject, Steve. It's looking better for the white. Yeah, so next point on creating a character is balance and detail. How much detail is too much? Here's a question for you guys. How much detail is too much when you're creating your backstory? What do you think on that little nugget? I'm going to move this out of the way. Yeah, how much do you think is too much when you're creating a backstory? What should you do? What shouldn't you do? What's your thoughts on that, creating your backstory? How much detail is too much? I'll give you my thoughts, my 10 cents, as I adjust my chair. So, of course, the clue is in the title, balance. So it's about having a balance on key elements like the origins of, where your character started, which then include his motivations as to why he's doing it. If we use that example I used for our cleric here, you know, the town that he grew up in as a kid got attacked by orcs and everyone got killed, and he then tried to save people, but he couldn't. So that's more than enough. You don't need to expand beyond that for that hook to get him into being an adventurer, to want to save the world and do good, right? And then you've got goals, like sort of further goals that come along, which your character can learn later down the road, not in that initial part, and then can have as aspirational goals for the future. So again, if we're looking at our cleric, so we could say, because he was orphaned and he had nowhere to live and his city was trashed, he moved to the next city, and he, you know, was bar hand and he worked in the tavern, and then from there he met a priest, and you know, and the priest was a drunkard, but because he was serving him alcohol, actually he made friendship with the priest, and the priest accepted to take him on as an apprentice. Right, there you go, done. Next hook. So it's all about building slowly, and you can build that out quite easily. It's quite nice to be able to do. Squarish is saying, I think storytelling and character creation is a big thing that draws me into TTRPG. Making films is very expensive, but TTRPG is a great way and free way to explore ideas with friends. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The storytelling and character creation is the biggest thing for me. Initially, like I said, I just first liked the concept of rolling dice and being able to do whatever you want. I quite liked that, but then as I got into it, building the characters and investing time into them to make them something special, I really love that. So I get quite attached, and I don't want my character to die, you know. I want my character to stay alive as long as possible. Some of my mates are like, oh yeah, I don't care if I die, it's alright. Kill me off, it's fine. But I get quite passionate about my characters, and I'm like, no, I don't want them to die. Yeah, so, but there's lots of different ways to look at that. Let's get some new brown out. I just want a slightly different shade of brown. I want to try this for the shoulder pads. In fact, is that the same? Oh, I think I've got the same brown out already. I think I might have used it. What a donut! Did I use it for that? No. I don't remember using it at all, but maybe I did. I can't remember. Right, let's go on these shoulder pads. This might be a bit too, yeah, look, that's a bit too close to his, the colour of his hair, I think. I will paint it and see what it looks like once it's done. I think that's a bit too close to his hair colour. This is like an orangey kind of brown for his shoulder pads. Yeah, I think that's way too close. I'll do the other one, let that dry, and then if not, I'll paint over with a darker brown. I am leaving the trim bare though, because I'm happy to do those in like this sort of regal vibe. So I want to make the trim on that gold. So let's just fill that in. Go on, get in there, a little bit in there. Yeah. So I think you don't need to go into an all-exhausting background for your character. It's just small snippets of time that you can give, so you can either play into that in the story. Like, I don't know, because our cleric here, his background is that his family all died and they were terrorised by orcs. If he meets an orc, maybe he's going to be super defensive, so that it means that every opportunity, maybe the orc in this party that he's with right now, because if we go to our phone cam, we can see here the party members. We've got our orc barbarian at the back there. Maybe, although he is friends with her, he's really cautious of her and really scared of her. You know, Ace a barbarian and he's a cleric, so he'd get his ass whooped perhaps. But do you see what I mean? It's just playing on these little tiny hooks all the way through. I like it. I want to put some... I need to get some silver, because you see the end of his staff, that is like meant to be a stone by the looks of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put silver on the undercoat of it, and then I'm going to get a blue, like a blue wash, a contrast to go over the top. So I'm going to use this blue to go over the top. I think that'll be a nice way to do it, because you get this sort of like gemstone shine that comes out, so it's quite nice. So that's what I usually do for those sort of little items like that. And then I think the rest of the staff will sort of do that dull bronze. So we've got, where is it? This kind of colour. It's Runelord brass, actually, brass. But it's a metallic, but it's not too sort of offensive. So we'll probably use that. Yeah, I just find with doing shiny things, doing this is like a easy, cheaty way to do it. It's not the best way. If you're a super duper artist, you will be able to make the shine yourself through mimicking light and all the rest of it into your colours. If you're not the super duper artist, aka me, and possibly you, that's why you're here, maybe that you're not the best miniature painter in the world and you just want some easy tips to make something look nice. Well, how about this tip? Not the tip of his spear, but the tip here that I'm giving you guys is that if you've got something shiny like that, it could be an orb, it could be like a big orb that the wizard's carrying. Go into silver and then just get a nice bright wash once it's dry over the top, and that should give you a sort of cool effect. So let's get a bit of this brass on our wet palette. How are we liking this sort of edgy music, by the way? Is it alright? I had it on the other week and I quite liked it, so I've just used it again. So hopefully it's alright. It's not completely off-putting. I mean, the view of me is probably quite off-putting anyway, so that's enough off-putting for one day. We don't require any more. Yeah, what else was I saying? Back on topic, that is. I always do this, don't I? I start on topic and then I get distracted by something and go off piece a little bit. So what was I saying? Yeah, how much detail do you need? Well, it's just picking out. I'd say if you've got your character, maybe pick out 5 things from start to finish, really simple sentences about your character. Again, let's use the example of our cleric. The first sentence that I would use is defended his homeland as a child from an invading orc army. Everybody died apart from him. You know, that's sentence 1, right? Maybe pick 5 of those that sort of span the distance between him as or the person as a young. If you want to start that far back, you don't have to. You could like hold all of that early information right back because you don't want to reveal anything at all. You might want to not write about it because you can't remember his past. But if you do, you know, pick out from then and pick out 5 different things throughout his life that you want to highlight. Things that can be incorporated into the story by the GM, or things that can be used by you as the player throughout, just to spice up the roleplay, because that's what it's all about. And newer players, I think, quite often when playing TTRPGs, get put off by the roleplay. But once they get into the flow, actually, they become addicts. A friend of mine who sort of started or restarted, I think he played them in his youth, but played them as an adult for the first time last year, and started off, you know, playing quite conservatively, and now actually he quite likes the roleplay. You know, it's quite funny to see. So yeah, it's very much worth giving it a go. Just trying to get this last little bit around here. Bit of a bugger, this bit. I'm not using my super zoom specs, so I'm doing it just with my standard spectacles, and it doesn't always prove too good. I will need to go back on the wooden aspect. Look, I've gone over there, haven't I? Like a fool. Have we got that brown? No, we don't. So we need that brown to cover up. Where's that brown? Up there. Yeah, so 5 sentences. They don't have to be massive, but something impactful or meaningful throughout your character's life. And there you go. That should give you enough detail. But you can go right into I've written like pages and pages on some characters where I just get really into it, and I'm like, oh, and this happened, and then he met this person, they become enemies, and then blah blah blah. But anyway, one thing you might want to consider when you're writing your character backstory is aligning your character backstory to the campaign setting. You may or may not know the campaign setting. You know, if you're just joining Adventurers League, for example, all you're going to know is, which is a Adventurers League for those that don't know, is just a group of one-shots run along the Sword Coast. You may not know anything because you're joining Adventurers League, which is random every time. They do follow a kind of script, but they don't have to, so the GM chooses basically. But if you're doing something like that, you can only align to it in the sense that you lived in the Sword Coast. You can't do any more than that. But your GM might say to you, oh, right, we are playing in this, we're playing in the Feywild, and this is the setting, and this has happened. He might even give you some sort of local history before you even get to write your character, depending on how kind your GM is. Well, not necessarily kind, because they could be a very kind person, but how prepared the GM is, or how willing the GM is to give you this information. So you can try to align your character to the campaign, because what you don't want is, I don't know, to build a character that is, I don't know, a Fey character that has XYZ background, and actually in the campaign you're playing now, the GM's sort of said that no, dwarves are not in the story at all. They're like super rare. Nobody ever sees dwarves because they're a dying out race. You know, so it would then sort of go against the fabrics of the campaign, which is quite important if you want something for longevity, that is. What about you guys? What's the saying here? No, same comment, I think. But yeah, so link up with your DM and make sure that your story coordinates properly. So share it with them once you've written it and say, hey DM, what do you reckon on this story? Is this too much? Is this good? And, you know, they're not going to sit there and recraft it for you, but they should give you some advice on if you're setting the right tone for your character. So, yeah, use your GM as a bit of advice. See what I mean when I put this contrast over silver? You get the silver coming through, as long as you don't put the contrast on too thick. I think I have a bit here. So when you put it on, you get like the silver underneath shining through, and it just sort of does it almost does like edge highlighting for you at the same time. It's quite nice. There we go. It gives it that cool. I missed a little bit there. Just need to get. There we go. There we go. Sorted. And just round there. Sweet. Okay. So there we go. There's our shiny little staff. I went for a nice sort of bright blue colour. Just to draw focus of the eye into that. And there is actually, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, I think that's too much zoomed in. Right, just on the back here, right? On the back of the staff, can you see there? You've got these sort of small little nubs here. They look like they should be coloured as well. I've actually missed some of the bronze. Yeah, so I'm actually going to try. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'm going to try to get this blue on these little splodges right on the back. I might need to use my Turbo Geek glasses for this. Here we go, peeps. Not worn these online yet. I don't think I have anyway. But they're going like this, right? Can you see? Look how geeky they look, right? And then, because I've got glasses, I whack my glasses then on over the top. and they look stupid, like that, and then go like this. So it's even more weird, right? So I look like an absolute nutter right now, but it's so good for doing detail. They look, you can see so much. That's why I really like these. They look stupid, but they're super good. So if anyone's painting models and you've never used a set of these, I hadn't used a set of these till recently, and I absolutely love them. They are genuinely the best thing since sliced bread. In the hobby world, that is. So who else out there at the moment is out there creating a character for D&D campaign? Let's have some of your characters. Drop the names of your characters into the chat. Let's get to know your characters. Or if you haven't yet created your character, why don't you create one now with us? Live. So you might not know the name. Right, let's take these off because they're actually quite uncomfy. You might not know the name of your character. You might not know what you're going to build, but let's talk about it. Drop in your thoughts into the channel. Let's talk about your characters. Come on. Let me hear. Now, I don't know if you can see that now. Can you see that on the back of his staff? The like little blue gems. Just about, right? It's a bit hard to see it via the camera, but they are there. So there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 little blue gems. They look pretty sweet. So I'm happy with that. So, who we got in here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I've just started on writing up an orbital blues campaign. So I have a big list of characters that need filling out. Ah, so that's characters you're writing, or NPCs you're writing as the DM, correcto? If so, chuck it in the chat, Squarish. Let us know what it is, and let's start creating some characters for you. Let's do it live. Live on Minis-N-Muscles, the place where the brawn meets the brush. Let's create some characters. Let's get it on. If I've got that skin, no, I ran out of that skin tone, so I'm just going to have to put some into my white palette. Who else is watching that's creating characters right now? Or who would like to create a character live? By the power of the internet, we too can create characters live. So what am I doing now on this guy? I'm just reapplying a bit of skin tone for him. Just because it got a bit patchy. So I just want to correct that. Just make sure my dwarf is all good. Ooh, do you know what I'm doing tomorrow? Hopefully I'm going out into town, and I am going to sneak by the Warhammer shop because they've got a Sisters of Battle poster available for free. So I'm going to go get one to accompany my Sisters of Battle army. My buddy told me about that today. I was well chuffed. He said, "Oh, have you seen this?" I was like, "No, I have not." That's pretty sweet. There we go. Got a little bit there by his ear that I just need to cover off. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. I need to get in there to get his lips. So I should probably put on my geek specs, right? Which I should probably do, but I haven't. But that's okay. That's all right. We're looking good. There is a bit of skin that I missed actually on his arm here. So let's fill that whilst we're here. There we go. Yeah, so on a continuation of our character creation conversation, let's go to my next bullet point, and I've forgotten what it is. So I'll just take a look over here. Yeah, so, you know, we were talking about earlier around those sort of 5 key points around your character. So what we do with those 5 key points, we kind of briefly touched on it a little while ago, was bringing those in for hooks. Hooks to the story. Now, this could be, let's use our cleric here as the example, where he was attacked by orcs, right? So he's got a fear of orcs, and now there's an orc in the party, and there's, you know, mistrust between the two, and, you know, they dislike each other, you know, they're sort of, they work together, but only for, you know, in the cleric's way, for the help of people, and for the barbarian orc, she only trusts the cleric because she's getting paid for it. That's the only reason why, but they absolutely hate each other for whatever reason. And, you know, maybe the cleric has now got, because of this, the GM can then bring in other elements like, oh right, okay, well, your cleric training is not going to go to plan because you're actually, you know, not doing what a good cleric should do and love everybody. So does that now make an impact on your path you choose as a cleric? Or does that mean that you completely re-roll or respec your character from a cleric at, you know, with first ambition thoughts, but you're now going to change to a warlock because you actually start to develop a sinister part of your side of your character? I don't know, you know. This is where you start to build and pad out, and this is generally done with the DM. So a lot of my characters, well, not my characters, a lot of the guys and girls that I play D&D with, they'll message me and they'll say, oh, I've got this idea about this, what do you think? And they sort of run it past me, and, you know, then you start implementing stuff, and sometimes they don't even know that you've implemented stuff that's going on, and until they finally clock, which is usually, you know, quite a few episodes later or sessions later, when they go, oh my god, I've just realised what you did. So it's actually their idea, but because you haven't said, oh yeah, I'm doing it now, and you just play it and rope it into the story, they completely don't realise, and you've got them absolutely, and they've just realised, oh my god, I've just played out exactly what I wanted to do, and I didn't even realise it. It's bloody brilliant. I love it when that sort of stuff happens. I love it when a plan comes together. Squarish is saying, a few of the NPCs have come pre-generated, but I want to add more depth to them. The first is Aldous Babbage, a slick salesman con artist who claims to be selling the latest in AI ship management computers. He has enlisted the aid of a hacker to achieve this. He's found himself having to trade out of Brenquin Station. I think someone's selling computer security at a stand in a service station. He makes some big promises about his tech. Unknown to the players, he is selling a grift, and his software is responsible for the loss of a number of ships in the area. Nice! So you want more depth to Aldous. So we go back to the why then. So the why... the why is your character like this? Why is he a con artist? What drove him to become the con artist, I'd say, for that one. That would give you a nice, chunky sort of start to the character's story. Could it be that, by the way, Aldis Babbage. It sounds like a. He sounds like a. Sounds like a gnome kind of name. I don't know if they have gnomes in the setting that you use, but sounds very gnomish. But I reckon you could say that Aldis. Let's think. Oh, here's one, right? So, growing up, Aldis was always like the honest, the polite, the kind kid throughout his early life up until his sort of late teens. And it wasn't till he started his first job, which happened to be in computer tech, that Aldis realised that he was getting crapped on all the time by all of these snidey people that were cheating, lying, stealing, you know, and doing all the things they shouldn't do. And they were getting on, and he actually was being the good guy, being nice, being kind, doing what he does, being honest. And he found that his career was stalling, and he was like, you know, he started to get frustrated. And the reason why he does this is not because he's trying to you know, get on and, you know, beast people out of their money necessarily, but he just feels that that is the way he has to be, because that's how everyone was, and that's how he saw everyone else get on. Maybe that's a good part to his beginning of his backstory, Squarish. JPC's in the house. What up? How you doing, JPC? Just for you, sir, let's give you a bit of a quick back brief on what's happening. So we are doing our scenery, our diorama, and here is the sort of the hilltop and the pathway that the guys, our party, are walking along. I cut this out of expanding foam. It's not finished yet, but it's just started. We've got our orc at the back, barbarian. We've got our human rogue, and we've got our rogue trader, and then we've also got our cleric who's here, who are painting right now, and they're going to be on this pathway. If we oh no, I just killed our rogue. If we put our rogue back in there, look, and it'll be something like that, and that's going to be the sort of dialect with the dwarf with his hand up saying, "Whoa, stop there, fella, what are you doing?" So that is what we're painting today, or a continuation of painting. So hopefully that is good. Hello, Honey Ann, how are you? Hope you're well. Oh, JPC, you're stuck at work. No. You're saying you're working on bases, but for someone else? Ooh, you kind soul, you. So the talk for today, Honey Ann and JPC have just jumped in, is the general chat anyways about backstories and character creation for TTRPGs. So why it's important. And I just said to anyone that's listening and watching to drop in and let's start talking about your characters that you're creating. Let's help each other do a bit of a workshop. And Squarish has come up with a character, and the character's name is Aldis Babbage, a slick salesman who's conning people, and he's selling AI ship management. And he's using a hacker to get by, but there's lots of problems with his software that he's selling. And we're trying to sort of think of how to develop his character a little further. Squarish is saying, so that background you gave is an idea phase 1 of a story circle. A zone of comfort, familiarity, or having stalled. Ah, so you're relating that to your comment earlier. Great. Phase 2 would be they desire something. So perhaps he desires being in a position of power. Yeah. So, so you've got the why he started. This is how I relate to it. Is the why he started, and then the goal that he has, right? The goal that he's setting himself as a character. So he is, he is doing his sort of damnedest to mimic what all of these other people he saw when he was younger do and get away with. So he was sort of mimicking these people, thinking, they're all cheating scumbags and they do it like this, and they've got the promotion that I didn't get, and I worked really hard. Well, I'm going to be like that. I want to be the boss of this corporation. And the reason why I'm selling AI computers is because it was a tech firm I worked for, and I want to run that tech firm and prove them all that I am better than they are. JPC is liking what he's saying. Or what he's reading, sorry. Phase 3 is they enter an unfamiliar situation. Perhaps his ex-colleagues turned against him, drove him out of the Central Alliance, forced him to sell his wares on the Rim. So I reckon with the hacker is the ex-colleague unbeknown to him. Right? And that is why things are all going wrong for him, because the hacker is screwing him over in the background, right? I like it. He has to resort to the underhand tactics he hated just to survive. He wants to be honest, but has been thrown out by the big corporations. Yeah, like it. Yeah, I like it. And the hacker is, I reckon, is the ex not friends, the ex-colleagues that he had. I think that would be quite cool to do. Let's put some more metallics into this dwarf, because dwarves generally wear, like, stereotypically wear lots of sort of jewellery, right? So we're going to give this guy a nice shiny gold bracelet. I always assume, like, clerics, because this guy's a cleric, right? I always assume that clerics are always finely dressed. And they've got the best garb, you know. Is that my just inner perception of how religious circles work? They're all very well-to-do and well-off. Quite possibly. Do you know what, though? I always think it must be quite a nice job to be like a priest or something like that, where you just help people all the time. It would probably be quite nice. I think my character would be, if I was, me was real in D&D. Look at this bad English I'm using. If me was real, if I was if real life was D&D, I think my character would be probably a paladin or a cleric. Yeah, it'd be a paladin or a cleric. I think that would be my character. I do end up sort of gravitating to the protector type role. I think it's just natural. So what else? So for other elements of the story, the hacker is also someone from a poor background trying to rise up, but having been trapped in the unsavoury situation, helping the combat. Yeah, but that do you find, right? They're quite like, the family died or they're really poor are two of like the most classic backgrounds of any character creation. Somebody is always playing that role. So not because I don't think they're good, because they have their good elements, but I try to, when I'm creating my NPCs, I try to be as creative as possible, because quite often people come to the table, especially if they're new, they won't be as creative, and I try to keep the simple stuff for players, and I try to give my characters more complex things, because they're all pre-written anyway. So I would. That's just me though, trying to stay away from the stereotypical. He was poor when he grew up, or his family all died. So even the story I created for this cleric was that his family all died, right? Because it's a really easy hook. But I just like the fact that he was just really honest, and he just got cheated out of getting along. I think that is perfect. I love that idea. I might even steal it myself. Anyone else creating characters at the moment and writing character backgrounds? Stick them in the chat. Let's talk about them, because my next point that I was going to talk about anyway for this, for this topic was collaborative storytelling, which we are doing right now with Squarish. So part of creating your character in D&D and creating the backstory. And the reason why I brought up collaborative storytelling is it's about trying to make a cohesive group. You want your players to all want to work together to achieve the common goal, right? So with collaborative storytelling, what is helpful, and this doesn't have to be every single person, because you might want the loner of the group or just the weirdo of the group or something, but you might want 1 or 2 or maybe 3 characters to be interlinked somehow. Now it could be, a really simple one is their relatives. You've got 2 characters that are brother and sister, but then character 3, he knows of the brother and sister. They don't know about him, but he knows of them because that character 3's father had an affair with the twins or the brother and sister's mother, or something crazy like that, right? So you can intertwine 2 people's stories, and they may not even know it. They may not even know it because, I don't know, just character 3 over there has said that his family was torn apart because his dad had an affair. Great, I've got that now as a DM. The characters over here are saying, they don't get on with their mother or something. Great, got that. Boom, tie it together. Because it makes for great storytelling. It makes everything so more immersive when you can bring characters together, and it gives them then the excuse to talk. So it's not just, oh right, roll to hit, roll for opening a treasure chest or whatever. You're giving the characters or the players who are playing as the characters the opportunity to converse and build on the story, because it's the players that make the world so cool. So yeah, I'd advise, trying to rig something up like that, which is always good fun. So collaboration. How do you make your players collaborate in the way you want them to? Well, merge their storylines. So that was my next bullet point. So Honey Ann is saying, I'm working on characters, but not for a game. Oh, what characters are you working on? Tell. Maybe we can do some collaborative storytelling for you, Honey Ann. Squarish is saying, Phase 5, they pay a price. They will have to throw the hacker, who is only in this situation because of them, under the bus to make a clean break with the funds needed to start a new company. This will pose a moral quandary for the character that the players can have a role in swaying. Perhaps forming alliances with a hacker, or having a future tech mogul on their side. Like it. Like it. Oh, sorry, I missed your point above as well. Ultimately, they may end up getting what they want. Phase 4, an honest tech company where there is no need for underhand dealings and he can treat staff well. Yeah, 100%. That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? That would be nice. I'd like that. I'd like to see Aldous get a nice, honest company. That would be good. Yeah, that would be very good. Yeah, Honey Ann, tell us what you're working on. And anyone else that's dropped in the chat, what are you working on? What do you know? Come on, tell us your stories. We're all talking about character creation in this edition of Minis and Muscles. So when you're playing tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, all that good jazz, you create your character, and it's really important that you create a good one so you can integrate into the story, and ultimately it's role-playing, the whole point of the game. So we're here talking about this integration of you into the story and being the best you and making your characters as awesome as possible. So if you're currently writing about a character for your D&D game or whatnot, stick it in the chat. Let's all talk about it. It would be good to talk. Whilst I paint our Dwarven Cleric here. See, another reason why I'm giving this guy like clean colours is because clerics are seen to be good, right? So actually the colours of his robes inspire his personality. So you could do that with all your characters, right? So maybe that is part of your character creation in your background formulating. Actually, he dresses like an emo and wears black because he's a moody SOB, right? That could be the hook for your character. What we're saying here, in one of the campaigns I run, almost all the players have created characters that have aligning backgrounds and objectives, through none of them know it yet. Yeah, exactly, right? That's brilliant. I love that. I love when that happens, because you can just pull it out and people are like, what? Oh my God. And then it just creates a whole storm for the role-playing element. I love it, love it, love it. Well done, Squarish. Honey Ann is saying, I'm working on a novel. Ooh, and my characters are mostly human who find themselves on the adventure of a lifetime in a magical realm. Oh, Honey Ann, right. I need a copy of this novel. Come on. Maybe Steve at Minis-N-Muscles could read the novel online when it's done. What do you reckon to that? Now that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Hey look, I'd even voice all the characters and everything. I'd go the full hog. I don't do things by halves here, you know. I was thinking I was going to leave that black, but I'm not. I'm going to use shade to colour in between there. Yeah, how about that, Honey Ann? We read the novel on Minis-N-Muscles. That would be so cool. And imagine if the novel took off. The first place it was ever heard was here, live, on Minis-N-Muscles. That would be pretty sweet. There we go, filling in that little awkward spot. Just had a bit of silence there whilst I was concentrating like a madman. Fill that little bit there because that needs to be white. There we go. Okie doke. Goodies, goodies, goodies. Let's get that in there. There's a little gap right there. I can't seem to cover, but nonetheless, that's fine. We'll work with it. We'll work with it, peeps. Work with it, baby. Work with it. All right, so it's the edging of the robe. Red. I'm feeling red, like bright red. That's what I'm feeling. Don't know if it'll work or don't know if it'll look good, but let's try it. What else is going on in the chat? But up until now, the differing character personalities have been pulling the party apart. Oh no! To the point of pulling weapons on each other. What? But because of the events of the last session, it's all going to be coming out of the woodwork next session, giving them a reason to overcome their differences and work together. Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't like PvP because it can end up quite rubbishy, PvP. But so be careful, Squarish. Be careful. But it sounds absolutely tantalising. It sounds very interesting. You're saying, fortunately, the players are great role players who can be screaming at each other, one moment in character, then laughing as players. Ah, nice. Making GM sessions incredibly rewarding. Yeah, it does. It does make all, like, GMs. Not everyone realises that GMs put a lot of effort into creating these campaigns for people, and it's a lot of writing and a lot of sort of thought and preparation and planning that goes into them. And when you get these moments, it's massively rewarding. And that's also another reason, I haven't put it on my notes actually, but it's another reason why to write backstories, because it helps your GM. And helping your GM out is a nice thing to do and vital for the campaign. Talking back of my points, actually it's time for our muscle moment. So I've just put red on my darn brush as well. Probably shouldn't have done that, but let's just see what we can get away with here. Oh, might need my geek glasses on again, peeps, because this is some fine detail. Getting these lines straight. Ooh! Come on. Can I do it with just my glasses, my normal glasses on? Can I do it? I'm not sure. Oof. Tough. Oh, there's nail biting this, guys. Ugh. Come on, you can do this, Steve. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, we can do this, guys. We've got this. I just want to see what the red looks like. It looks pretty cool so far. Oh, am I out of... Oh, am I out of bloody shot again? Sorry, peeps. Just gone over his lovely ginger beer, but we'll do that again, don't worry. Actually looks quite cool. It's given the effect I wanted, that kind of regal look. What do we reckon? Looks quite nice, right? And we're going to have red down here as well. Obviously red down here. What about here as well? Will that go red? I reckon that'll work. What do we think, peeps? Does the red work? What do we reckon? I think the red looks alright, you know. I think it looks pretty good. I will need to tidy this up a little bit because I'm going fast because I'm trying to do it quick so I can then go on to me muscle moment. But sometimes when you get into painting models, you just don't want to stop. But I think he's looking pretty sweet. Right, let's leave him there for a moment. Can you see in the camera actually how that blue sort of crystal on the tip of his staff actually looks now? With that silver underneath with the wash over the top method. It does help for doing crystals and sparkly things. I do like that method. Right. So, okie doke, we are back into the main picture. We are here and we wouldn't be the channel where the brawn, whoop, meets the brush, whoop, if we didn't speak about our muscle moment, right? So, what is the muscle moment I hear you cry for today? Well, the muscle moment is how to deal with injuries and preventing injuries, you know, recognising them, all the rest of it. So we're going to go through that for the next 10 minutes. But let's catch up on the chat before we do. That's oh, Honey Ann saying there's an idea. You can voice all the characters. Girls too, so start working on your girl voice. Okay, I'll work on my girl voice. I have to do that a lot in playing D&D anyway, so yeah, I'm working on my girl voice. Don't you worry. Got your characters sorted, Honey Ann. Squarish is saying, I don't think I'd ever have the skill to write a novel. I can create backstories, but it takes a special magic by an author to bring characters to life on a page. I would agree. I've never written a storybook. I did write, or started to write in lockdown. No, not lockdown. In between, well, when I left a job, and then it was like the last couple of weeks of that job into the new job, I started writing a book about life stuff, basically. And I wrote 10,000 words, and I had it on an app. I was writing on my iPad, and then on my phone, and then I was going to the coffee shop every day, writing in this app, and then my phone broke. And then I went to reload it with my new phone and realised it hadn't saved anything and lost like 10,000 words. It's the most words I've ever written in my life. 10,000 words. That took ages for me. Like you guys probably write 10,000 words in the blink of an eye. But here at Minis and Muscles, whew, that don't happen very often. But Honey Ann said, I'm trying to see if I have the skills right now. I've always written little stories, so now I'm trying to put them all together. And the red looks good. Thank you. No, I am sure, Honey Ann, you have the skills to do it. I think everyone does, really, even morons like me. It just takes me a lot longer than it would you. And I appreciate that you like the red, so that's good. I'm glad that people do like the red on the cleric. I think it looks pretty cool. Anyway, so muscle moment. Preventing injuries is the first point I wanted to talk about. So how do you go about preventing injuries, especially once you get over the age of about 30? And that was, for me, 10 years ago. Almost 11 years ago. Actually, when I was over 30, I found that pretty hard because your body starts to change and the muscles become a lot different. They're far more susceptible to busting, so you can't really get away with, running like a madman like you did in your 20s, getting up the next day and doing it all over again without any problem. You actually have to start taking care of your body and listening to your body. So the first thing I'd say is, by taking care of your body, if you're doing physical exercise, warm up properly, cool down properly. I'm absolutely terrible at that, even to this day. But when I do, I notice it far more. I notice the benefits, so much more than when I don't. So, if I don't warm up properly or cool down properly, I feel like crap the next day. I'm ultimately stiff, not just a little bit of muscle soreness, like delayed onset muscle soreness, but stiff as in my body just doesn't like it and it won't operate properly. And then also stretching, not only to prevent like strains and pulls, but actually as you get older, you find yourself less mobile. And I don't mean I'm not mobile. I can move around, I can walk, I can do all the rest of it. But it's the way your body moves changes because your muscles change, and the way the muscles work change. So that if you go to bend down, you don't bend down like you did when you were 20 years old. We just literally scoop down and pick something up off the floor. You then have to think about it and take a slower approach, and you move in a certain way. So proper warm-ups and stretching are really key for injury prevention. And then the other one I'd say for injury prevention is doing things properly. There's nothing like watching people in the gym throwing around weights, for example, that are sort of, throwing them up like this and doing them like that, and, they have no form and they're shaking all over the place, and that, because the weight's too heavy or something like that, and they end up putting out their back or injuring their shoulder or whatever it is. So make sure you do the exercise that you're trying to do properly and carefully and controlled. So, preventing injuries, warm up, cool down, stretch, and you should incorporate stretching actually as part of your regular routine throughout the week. So maybe 30 minutes here and there throughout the week. Make sure you stretch. And then correct form, do exercises properly. Then next part is being intelligent about what you're doing, recognizing an injury from a discomfort. So when you do exercise, and let's say we're going in the gym, we're trying to build bigger muscles, so we're doing bicep curls, and when we do that, we're going to tear the muscles because that's how muscle grows, and that will hurt. It'll be discomfort. But there's a difference between a micro tear to build the muscle than a complete tear and snap of the bicep so that you cannot operate anymore. So it's understanding and being attuned to your body and how it operates. So just be careful and think about what you're doing. Is this an ouchy pain, or is this just that's a bit of a niggle? And it's about understanding then with that when to stop and when to go and seek advice, or when to just rest, or I'll be in the gym recently and then I'll stop and I'll be like, right, no, that's aggravating my hand. I snapped my hamstrings, both of them, tore both of them in one go because I wasn't listening to my body. And now I have to be very careful with my hamstrings because they're super, super fragile, and they're very, very painful. So I have to listen to my body a lot when I'm exercising. Just in my paintbrush, the hair's splitting there. That's not good. So rest and recovery, the next point then. So rest is critical for healing. You only get bigger and stronger and faster and fitter when you rest. So unless, well, even I'd say even the people that are attuned to it, training 7 days a week is not necessarily a very good thing to do. Unless one of those training days or 2 of those training days are active recovery days where instead of going for a full-out sprint or a marathon, you only do 1 or 2 mile, and you do it very slowly. So you must rest up, especially if you have injuries, things like ice, or if you're very posh, a cryo cuff to put round your swollen limbs, massage, things like that to help recover. Please do those. What was I going to say? My next point was about staying active safely. So if you do adopt an injury or you think you're pushing the boundaries, find an alternative exercise that you can do to keep active, so you don't stop the habit of going to the gym or working out, but actually you maintain that habit. You're just adapting how you do it. So let's use my hamstring example. I've hurt my hamstring, so I can't do squats, but instead I will go and do leg extensions. So I'll do leg extensions because that's quad exercise, right? Change it up. I would say this point is the toughest part of injury, is the mental aspect of recovery. Now, this is super difficult to get your head around when you get injured, to back off and stop, especially if you're super active. To stop is a very, very hard thing to do. And I remember being young and training whilst in the army for bits and bobs, and I'd injured myself out exercising quite badly, and then I went through physiotherapy. I rushed it. I went back straight into training, full on steam, and I went back and then spent another 12 months in rehab trying to fix those injuries because I went back too quick and I wasn't thinking about the mental aspect of it and being patient. Injuries take time to heal, so allow your body that time to heal. Take that moment to breathe. It will get better, and if you're finding it frustrating not being able to do what you do, that's where it goes back to step 4, which is staying active safely. You've buggered your hamstrings, so then you go and do another exercise that's alternative to that, that's not going to aggravate them, so you're staying active. That will help. And then finally, on the mental aspect, is setting yourself realistic goals. So break down your injury recovery into weeks or months or however you find fit, and then start to label that out in front of you, so you have a diary and you can say, right, by this point I need to be at this stage, and you can start applying those. Let's think. And then lastly, I put on my last point for a muscle moment, injury prevention going forward. So if you found that you keep on getting injured in a certain place, let's say my hamstrings, then find a way to build those hamstrings up, and also then look at being smart and preventing that injury by avoiding certain techniques. So for me, for squats, I used to go all the way down with my butt down to my calves. I don't do that anymore. I only go to 90 degrees. So instead of being upright, I go to, I'm not doing a very good job. Instead of being that, I go to 90 degree there rather than going all the way down, right? So I just go to 90 degree and stop rather than going all the way down and up. Because otherwise, if I go all the way down, it just wrecks my hamstrings again. So adapt what you do. Anyway, hopefully that is a good muscle moment for you. Let's get back to the painting. So we were on our cleric and starting to do some red. So let's get some more of this red on. I'm liking this red though. I think it looks very nice. Oh look, I've just gone over the edge there. Might have to get the old geek glasses out. I keep threatening. But I tell you what, they're so good. If none of you have used them before, seriously, get yourself some geek glasses. What do I mean by geek glasses? That those of you that didn't get to see me in them earlier on today, they're basically magnifying glasses, and they're so good. They're so good. They just work so well. I never thought in a million years I'd wear something like that, but they're so good, and you can see all the detail, and then it suddenly makes things like painting eyes really easy. I never thought I'd say that, Painting eyes is easy. Yes, you heard me right, mini makers. Painting eyes is easy if you have yourself some magnification glasses. Right, I do need to tidy this up because this is not particularly tidy right now. But the red is going on. And the important thing is it looks good. So I'm very happy with how this is working so far. So in the chat, let's get back to our theme of character creation for your novels that you're writing or for your TTRPGs that you're playing, and the importance of the character creation and why it's such a vital thing. Let's just scroll back so I know what I'm talking about. Last thing we're talking about is the collaborative storytelling aspect, so you can start to bring multiple people into one point or one part or element of people's backstories. You know, where we were talking about having the brother and sister that are related, and there's another character, a third character that, you know, the third character's father had an affair with the brother and sister's mother. Doesn't have to be as scandalous as that, but you know, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about collaborative, bringing everyone in, and it's super cool. And like Squarish was saying earlier, it's when the players realise, well, that's what's happening as well. That's a nice moment. Very dramatic, the music, isn't it? So anyway, outside of the standard chat and the standard conversation for today's theme on TTRPGs and character creation and things like that, what's everyone up to this weekend? It's Friday, so is anyone doing anything cool? Is anyone going anywhere nice? Is anyone going to play a tabletop role-playing game this weekend? If not, why not? You should. They're awesome. Anyone can find a TTRPG to play anywhere. Even when I went on some work trips. I think it was when I pre-recorded one of the live sessions to go out for Minis-N-Muscles. I went on a work trip to the States, and I played in a Dungeons and Dragons game at a local shop. I just found a local shop, found out when the games were, and I went along on the night when they're playing games and joined in. It was bloody brilliant. It was a right laugh. Especially going in and playing with people that you have no clue who they are. It's quite funny. And no, I wasn't chaotic evil. And I didn't go in there and ruin the game. But it was good fun. So is anyone else going out this weekend? Doing anything cool? Seeing anything good? Come on, what you doing, guys? Tell me. Squarish is saying he has got Candela Obscura tomorrow. Yes! The continuation of your campaign, sir. Good luck. But all I hear on the Discord is very good chat about that. And people are very happy about playing that game. So, well done to you. Honey Ann, I'm going to Renaissance Fair to... Oh, what? Really? Oh, man. Well, you have to jump on the Discord and put photos of this Renaissance Fair on there. I've really wanted to go to a Renaissance Fair, but I never had the opportunity. But they look so cool. So I'm rather jealous, Honey Ann. That's a really cool thing to do. Oh, here's a question. Is this in in sort of planning for your novel that you're writing is because you said earlier that you're writing a novel. So is the attendance of a Renaissance fair part of that because you want to sort of delve into the aspects of the book that way to sort of experience something and get some ideas? Is that why you're going? Be interesting to know. Do 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 do. You know I'm going slightly mad when I start singing along to the backing track, right? What do we reckon? It's a bit Santa Clausy, isn't he? A bit Santa Clausy. Maybe. Maybe it's a bit too much. We've got his belt to do yet. But he is a bit Santa Clausy. I've just realised. Maybe his name is Klaus, not Claus. Oh. Just gone over there onto the white, so I'll have to fix that. It's the only problem when you're doing... I should have done the red first, really. But, again, I always paint backwards. And the reason I say I should have done red first is because it's... well, actually... I don't know. Now I'm at odds with myself. Should I have painted red first? No, probably not. Red is harder to paint over, right? It's a more difficult colour to cover with a light colour anyway. Ah! We dropped the priest! There we go. Oh dear. There's a lot of tidying to do on this model. Again, where I'm not wearing it, I should just put them on, but I haven't. I feel a bit of a prat wearing them. Where I haven't worn them and I've just gone over lines and gone over areas that I really shouldn't be. Oh, such a silly ninny. Do do. Go. Okay. Now we're looking on the inside. I've got to do the underside here. Do 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 do. Towards the end of the stream, I always sort of it takes me more effort to paint because I get tired. So what happens is I start talking less. But never mind. We shall get there. We shall prevail, peeps. Yeah, it's when I have to really concentrate and as I get tired. Because it's a working day, right? So, finish a working day and then you're like doing the stream and doing that. It's actually quite a tiring thing. Not that I'm bitching about it or, you know, upset about it, because I do it because I love it. But it's just quite tiring. It takes a lot of my little brain power to do things. There we go. Right, there he is. Not looking too bad. How are we in the chat? We all good? Completely unrelated. I just love the Renaissance Fair. Ah, okay. Well, take your sort of notes with you, Honey Ann, because I reckon there will be some inspiration there for your book. That would be a pretty cool place to get, you know, whether that's inspiration from people's cosplay or from the sort of scenarios and the happenings at this Renaissance Fair, because there'll be plenty of going on there. I'm sure there'll be some cool stuff that will sort of get your creative juices flowing. So you should definitely take your writing stuff if you haven't planned to do so already. I reckon you'd be a fool not to. Right, here he is. Okay, well the gold, I need the gold again for little bits in his beard. This is just a small one. The big South Florida Ren Fest runs mid-Feb through to March. I'll probably go to that too. Ah, nice. Well, you are very lucky to be going. I'm rather jealous. So we're now going to paint these little beard, what are they called, the things that, beard ties, I guess. Right, I'm doing it, peeps. I'm breaking out the geek glasses. It's happening. It's happening. Right, here we go. Brace yourself for something pretty darn cool. Look at this. Whoop. Okay, so this is like the ultimate in geekery. But they're so bloody good. Honestly, for anyone that paints models, they're so good, these glasses. You just don't make a mistake when you do them. That's why I love them. And they're so easy to use. Slip them on. I tell you what, if I didn't wear glasses, it'd be even bloody better. But these are so good. Honestly, peeps, if you paint models, get yourself a set of these bad boys. Get them all over the place. Don't go to Amazon, because they're useless. But they are, I am sure, on there. I hate Amazon right now, though. I bought a phone last year, and the phone bloody found out battery ran out within 4 months. The battery was absolutely knackered, and I took it to the Apple store, right, because it was an iPhone, and the people in the Apple store tested it, and they were like, oh yeah, this has come from China, and it's got fake Apple parts in it, and the wireless charger and it's broken and blah 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 blah. So they wouldn't fix it. They wouldn't replace it. Apple wouldn't. So I then tried getting hold of the supplier, and the supplier said, "Yeah, send it back. That's fine. We'll replace it." I sent it back. They then returned it because there was a small crack on the back, which wasn't there when I bloody sent it. Because there was a small crack on the back of the phone. So then they sent it back, unfixed, and now I have a £350 paperweight. Absolute buttheads. So I wholeheartedly blame Amazon for this, for the fact that they allow shoddy retailers to go on their site and sell. So it really does pee me off, that does. But what can you do? Not a lot. Before someone says it, yes, I've tried speaking to Amazon already. But they're useless, I tell you! Not like these goggles that I'm wearing. These are not useless. These are stuff that legends are made of. They're so bloody good. You look like an absolute knobhead wearing them, but they're so good for painting. It's unreal. I genuinely can't believe I have never used a pair before until recently. Get into all the nooks and crannies and you don't make mistakes. It's so nice. And you can still paint pretty fast with them as well. I was surprised about that. I thought it would be quite a sort of a mission painting with these, but it's not at all. I'd say you can paint just as quick doing this real fine detail as you can doing, you know, all the larger stuff. When you do things like eyebrows and things like that, it just makes it so easy. Slight overrun on the eyebrow there, but we can tidy that up shortly. Yeah, I forgot what else I was going to talk about now. Yeah, so I guess my last point for creating characters was that your backstories are not static. So what do I mean by that is that the game of tabletop role-playing styles, be it D&D or whatever, is constantly evolving, as is your character. So do not ever feel that you and your character cannot evolve or change for whatever reason. And there will be 100% ethical reasons during a game that you might want to change for, you know, many a reason. And do so, you know, providing you speak to your GM and make sure that they're all happy with the reason and the rationale, etc. But yeah, change it up. They should grow and adapt as your character grows. They should change as your character changes. Events in the realm of tabletop role-playing games that your character experiences might well be the trigger to change them for good. So like I was saying with this... Oh God, I'm out of bloody view again. Sorry, guys. It might be that the character that you're playing, like say this cleric, and we said about him doing stuff for good, but then experiences something that just changes him. You know, and that's absolutely fine. You should 100% do that. It makes for a longer, more realistic campaign. And ultimately you're all there to have fun and to enjoy the game, right? So do change it up. And I don't mean by that Oh, next week I'm going to be a wizard. Oh, the week after I'm going to be a barbarian. I don't mean that, I mean change in accordance to your character's experiences through the game. So your character will experience things, and then you should then change your character through that. Like, there's a character in my homebrew game that he was like really pompous. The character was super pompous, a bit of an arse, and his character sort of was always peeing the rest of the players off, the players' characters, not the actual players. But he was always peeing the players' characters off because he was like stuck up. And then recently he found this book and I placed it in the environment purposely so he could change if he wanted to. And he did change, and he changed his character to become nicer and try to learn from this book about how to be a better person. And then it evolves to the point where, you know, there's moments in the game now where the rest of the party are like shocked because he's just said something that's like compassionate or caring or whatever it was, when he never used to be like that. And they're like, oh, he did actually read that book, you know, he did actually try to be a better person. So it's quite funny when you do things like that. So always allow for your character to continue in growth, is my final point on character creation. I'll come to the chat. I've just seen it in the side of my eye. Oh, and because I'm not concentrating, I've just gone over. Bugger. There's me saying you never make mistakes with these glasses on. Well, you do when you also looking at the side of your eye, not concentrating fully. Just tidy that up. Righty. What we going on in chat? Adrian Baker. Oh, did I have my head there, did I? Sorry. Always good when there's some nice character development. Yes, very much so. You've got to love it. And ultimately that comes down to, it's the last 10 minutes of the show, that we've sort of got to this point now, is that, you know, that's what makes tabletop role-playing games an absolute delight to play, because they take you into this crazy fantasy world, and you know it gives you all these sort of twists and tales and turns in the story that you fall in love with, and you start to you just start to love every single moment that happens with these players, with these characters, as they start to do X, Y, Z. It becomes a bloody brilliant moment. And exploring that with your friends and having that laugh is like massive. I adore my players when we're having a laugh with tabletop role-playing games and doing that. It's an absolute hoot. If you've got the right bunch of people, and people build these characters and invest in the characters, it becomes something very, very special that I don't think any other game gives. I don't know another game that gives you the same kind of feelings as tabletop role-playing games. From the sadness, perhaps, of a character dying to, you know, the joys of overcoming an arch enemy or a massive boss. I don't think any other game gives you that, not in the same way. I just think it's something really special, and that role-playing aspect has a lot to do with that. Hence why I find and feel that character creation and background creation for your characters is so vital. Bring down the visor on these glasses so I can do these little bits here. Here we go. I feel like this guy's almost got a wrestling belt on. That's what it feels like. Feels like he's the WWE champion of the world. Go. There's those last little bits there. Just want to get some black. We've got black there. Take them off because I can't see sod all. Well, I hope you've all had a wicked time listening to me babble on about character creation for tabletop role-playing games, whilst I've spoken about injury prevention and looking after yourself in the world of the physical. And then watching me paint models. As always, here on Minis-N-Muscles, I appreciate every single one of you. It's been lovely to have a lot of chat this evening. Now, this is a slightly difficult bit there. Oh, I know why. I haven't done the inside of that. That should be red. Oh dear, silly me. Okay. Just think I need more lighting in my man cave for this, because painting is actually quite hard and you need lots of light from lots of different angles. So I'm painting this and I need a light in a certain way, but then I also need the light to be a different way for you guys to see what I'm painting. So it's like, well, I'll give up my light for you guys to see what you need. But actually, I need something this way, so I might need to look at a new lighting configuration at some point anyway. Maybe when we get to like 1,000 subscribers, I'll invest in something. Gosh, can you imagine when we get to that point? You guys are going to be like the OGs. The original gangsters. The original gangsters of Minis-N-Muscles. Yeah. Well, I should wrap the paint pot up tonight. Let's just have a little look at our geezer and see how he looks. Let's bring the phone cam in. There he is. There we go. How's he looking? Not bad, right? I think he looks pretty smart. Let's just go for an over the top view. See the shine of the crystal in that kind of blue? That's what I love, that silver with a contrast over the top. There is still some more to do, so if you look, let's use my paintbrush as the pointer. If you look here, you've got the shoulder pads. They still need finishing off. There's still quite a lot of fine edging to do where I've cocked up bits and bobs, and his eyes as well. But he is pretty much there. I love his wrestling belt that he's got on. Maybe that's part of his backstory. He's a seasoned wrestler. But he's looking pretty cool. And if we take him over to the diorama and then put light onto that. So this is our diorama. So this is where our adventurers are going to be on the road. You've got our barbarian at the back. She's not painted yet. Our rogue, our cleric, and then the backpacker. I am going to put some grass onto the green sides, and I'm going to mud up the road a bit more. But that is what it kind of looks like. Hair's a bit too red for a guar. No, never too red. Ginger all the way. That's what we want. So let's just put that camera down and change. Back over to this view. So, my lovely people, we need to wrap up. We need to wrap up. So as I always say, thank you to every single one of you. I love you all very, very much. I appreciate every single one of your time with me, spending with me on a Friday night, when you could be doing other things, but you don't. You're here, where the brawn meets the brush, on Minis and Muscles, watching, painting, talking geek, and having a good old time. Remember to like the video when it's posted, which will be directly after the stream. Remember to turn on notifications so that you can see when we go live. Make sure you share so we can get some more followers. I think we're on 110 or something like that, roughly subscribers. But let's get this up to, let's say the next target's 500, right? That would be cool to get to 500. But next week, just as an announcement, next week I'm away, so I'm going to pre-record a video. That video is not going to be a usual Minis and Muscles painting. That video is going to be me talking about my pile of shame. Now, by pile of shame, I mean all of the miniatures that I've got that I have not painted yet. Oh my gosh, peeps, there is a lot over there. A lot of miniatures that I have not painted. What we will do throughout the course of the show, it's kind of bad. I don't know whether I should do this or not, but I was thinking I'm gonna tally up the score, the cost. It'd be a rough cost, but I'll tally up the rough cost of all of my unpainted miniatures. Right? I'm kind of dreading it, but I did say I'd do it, so I am going to follow through with that. That's quite a scary thought because there's a lot there. I'm looking just to my right. There is 1, 2, 3 boxes of that. Oh gosh, there's like there's 3 big plastic tub boxes, and there's so many minis in there, so many, it's sick. So we will do that. I will record that maybe at the weekend, but it will go live on the Friday at the usual time at 7 PM next week. So that will go live. I won't be live, but you can still comment, you can still follow along. I will try to jump on and say hello to you all whilst I'm in the chat. But that will be the video for next week. So going through the pile of shame and accounting for it all. Adrian's saying still in boxes stuff too. Yes. So all the stuff that's still in boxes, which is plenty in there, stuff that's still got cellophane wrappers on, and stuff that I've done, like this model, for example, where I've taken it, painted it black, but not painted it properly. So there is loads of stuff, like literally loads of stuff. It's going to be quite an embarrassing. I feel that it's going to be quite an embarrassing video for me personally, but nonetheless, for you guys, I'm going to put it out there. I think it might interest. I think it would be quite interesting to see. And from that as well, we can get a good idea of what we might want to paint on the channel next, because obviously I always ask you guys what you want to paint. So that is a teaser for next week. But remember, thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Do something cool. Do something geeky. Enjoy it. I will see you all very, very soon. But thank you so much. Absolutely love every one of you. Like, follows, subscribes, notifications on. Share it with your mates. Share it with your grandma. Let's get some grandmas watching Minis and Muscles. Anyway, enjoy your weekend, people. I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Minis and Muscles, we're heroes, right? The dying world still burning skies. Rushing air, where power we fight. Strength that makes you night in the night. Where the brawn meets the brush. The story's told in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis and Muscles, heart and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roar. Gaining realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Doting spells, casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world's in our own. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing on the